We say we want independent kids, but sometimes we don't give them the space to become independent. Welcome to Mama's Playground. This is Darlene.
And this is Monica.
And that line, the one that we started with, is something that we all can relate to.
Yes.
Definitely.
Some more than others.
Yes, some more than others. And we're going to be talking about that today. But how was your weekend? I know it's been a couple of days, but I haven't seen you, didn't talk to you.
This weekend was the busiest weekend of our whole 300 and almost 65 days out of the year. We had, just to make a little quick snippet of our weekend, we had our kids' belting ceremony for jiu-jitsu. So they got a new belt this weekend.
Okay.
They were very excited. That was Saturday, and they spent the whole day at the park with their jiu-jitsu friends. And then we had a birthday party right after. So we rushed from the park to Chuck E. Cheese for Noah's little best friend's birthday. And then from there, we went home, rushed, took a shower, got changed, dropped the kids off at my mom's, and we went to the Joe Coy comedy show in the Kaseya Center, which was great. It really was. It was great. It was date night, but it was good because it wasn't it wasn't your typical. We laughed so much. The audience, the vibe, everything was great. He did a really good show.
That's so good. So you were doing everything with the kids, and then at night you had your moment in comedy. I love comedy shows.
2 hours. 2 hours. It was great. It really was.
That's
it really
great.
was. And then Sunday, another birthday party. So it was good.
It's one after the other.
Yes. And I don't know how to say no. I'm like, I want to go to everything that we get invited to. And then I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you just need to say no. You know, it would have been nice to have stayed home on Sunday, but you know.
And it's interesting with these birthdays because especially when you have the kids in a new classroom, a new group, so it's new parents. It's when you go these birthdays, you don't know what to expect. You don't know how the parents are. So the other day we had one and it was supposed to start at 11. We got there at 12:30 because life happens. I hate being late.
Yes.
And it gives me so much anxiety, but we got there late and I felt so bad. And I'm like, okay, this is a family that I don't know. They're going to think these Latinos are always late. But anyway, we made it. But yeah, weekends, we don't have sports like we used to every single Saturday. But for some reason, there's something, especially now around the holidays, it's one thing after the other. We did the Santa's Wonderland thing
I did that
Miami.
Last year. Did you like it?
I liked it.
Did you?
I liked it, but it's far from us.
Yeah.
It was on a school night, so we got home at 11:30 at night. The next day, forget about it. And then it's been so many events last week and then going into the weekend that on Sunday it was perfect because I wake up and I'm like, okay, Luna, let's go to church. Mom, can we do the church at here, watch it on TV? And I'm like, sure. And then we had plans. She didn't know. I had made plans with other moms. We were going to take some kids to the park. And then I go, you know what? I'm not going to make it. It was one of those days where it's okay to sometimes just stay home.
Yeah.
Just stay home. And I asked her, Lunita, what do you want to do? And she wrote on this board, the cutest thing ever. And I'm going to put it on the video in case you're watching us on YouTube. And she just put a schedule of 10 things that she was going to do throughout the day with me.
Oh.
And it was great.
So she was being organized.
Yeah, and she just wanted to be home in her PJs and spend time with me. And I love that because as an only child, I put this pressure on, we have to go and see your friends all the time.
Yeah.
And I want her to be with friends. And Sunday was just perfect because it was just us. And then at one point I was cooking and she went to her room and she was playing alone with her toys and listening to music and it was great. And it's like they say, when you give kids, that space of, we don't have to go to dance, we don't have to go to jiu-jitsu, for example, we don't have to do this and that, and you just let them be.
And you just chill.
Yeah, that's when they get creative and they do their own thing. And so that was our Sunday and it was great.
So it was a successful weekend then.
Yes. And it's so important to spend time with the kids, especially now because they're going through all these emotional stages and all these people talk about, the babies when they're born and the sleeping habits and then the feeding. They talk about the toddlers, the terrible twos. But I saw this post the other day on Instagram. It was Mom Psychologist. I think it's her page. And she was saying oftentimes people forget to talk about kids that are 6, 7, 8 years old and all the emotional changes that they're going through.
Oh, absolutely.
It just hit me because it was saying about how they go through all these different emotions. Sometimes they don't know how to handle it. Suddenly they're happy, then they're sad, and you don't know if it's because something happened in school. And, you know, they go through body and emotional changes. We as parents, we think that they're just either having a tantrum or they're being a pain in the ass, and we have to, you know, dive deep into it and see what's going on and how we can help. And that's where the topic comes in. Sometimes while trying to help, what do?
We overparent. Overparenting. I know you wanted to talk about this because we had discussed a couple of things going on just like in personal life, right? And you had a situation not that long ago with like a friend or acquaintance or so on. I want you to tell me about it because you didn't get into details about it. And I was like, you know what? Save it for the podcast.
Yes. Not going too much into detail, but no, it was a situation where, you know, our kids have friends. They have friends, they have their besties, they have their friends from school, from sports, from this, from that. So it was a situation where...
Your daughter's friends.
My daughter's friend. Okay. And even the mom was like, why are they always arguing? And I told her to make the story long, really, really short. So I say, okay, maybe we should just separate them and they'll miss each other.
Some breathing room.
They'll know when they hang out again, they're not going to be arguing. And then she said, well, I think we as parents shouldn't be controlling what our children do, who they hang out with. And I go, wait, am I trying to really control too much the situation? So I started doubting myself. Am I overparenting? Am I being too overprotective? Am I trying to control too much who she hangs out with and all that? When they're kids, they're going to fight one day, they're going to be happy the next day. And sometimes it affects us more because we see our kid crying.
Yeah.
We see our kid receiving all this drama when she has never gone through that. What do you do in those situations?
Oh my God. You're asking me. I'm no psychologist. I have no clue. And I think your mama heart tells you your instinct should tell you, or not should, probably gives you some insight into what you would do to kind of like remedy the situation or what you think is going to be the best. Because I feel like whichever way you go around it, one parent will say, you know what, just let them be. It's fine. Let them hash it out. But then as a parent, if it's happening all the time, I could just put myself in your shoes. And every time they get together, there's always crying and there's always fighting. I think it is an overstimulation, right? For the parent and also for the kid, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't know, they're taking it obviously very personal. You know, they're getting bothered. Maybe it's a competition, especially between girls. You know, it's like maybe who outshines who, and they don't really know how to say it, I want to say, or they really don't know how to process that. And then as a parent that's older, that's already gone through, you know, different things in your life, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to deal with this right now. We need a break from this. So I can understand wanting maybe a little break to see maybe when they get back together, like if it's okay. Because if it's constant fighting, like every time, let's say you see each other 4 days out of the week and you have a play date, and those 4 play dates, they're always fighting, and then one's crying and the other one, and it's just dramatic. And you also as a parent are like, oh my God, kidding again.
Yeah.
You know, I can understand wanting to kind of say, you know what, let's let them have a little break. It doesn't mean they're not going to be friends. It doesn't mean that they're not going to love each other and this and that. But you know what, maybe we just need a little break. So that this also, it helps me as a mom because, you know, it's too much drama right now. It's too much to process. Let them take that break and then let them get back in a week, you know?
Exactly. So we did that.
I don't think it's a horrible thing, you know? One thing would be like that you're the overprotective mom and you're like, you know what, that's it. Your daughter cannot hang around with my daughter. This is too much. You know, that also when they're kids, like you're trying to control the situation, also tampoco, you know what I mean? But I think that if you take it like step by step and you say to your friend, hey, let's just take a little break from here. Let them see each other like in 5 days. Let them get a little breathing room so that they miss each other and then they want to see each other. I don't think there's me personally, maybe a psychologist will come on here and say, that's not the right to do it. But I'm sure there's a bunch of psychologists that'll tell you different things.
Yeah, they'll probably
say,
let them handle it among themselves. But it wasn't working the first 3 times. So that's when I stepped in. Anyway, she tells me, oh, Mom, I miss my friend. I go, okay, so probably we'll see each other soon. And the moment they start again, then we will figure it out. But it's
maybe that's the dynamic that they have, and they actually love it and they thrive off of it, as toxic as it might be to us. Like if you and I were fighting all day long, I think you'd be like, you know what, Fabian, you'd probably that's it. I can't see Monica for like, I don't even want to see her now, like tomorrow. I want her away from me for like a month, you know? So, you know, I can understand that as adults, but maybe as kids, you know, maybe they don't take it as personal as we do. I don't know.
No,
it's like they're in the moment.
The thing is that while my friend and I are having this conversation, they send us a picture from school and they're like hugging and laughing.
Oh, and they
together.
love each other.
And my friend sends me the picture and I go, this is crazy. You have 2 boys. Have you had any situation where there's drama with, okay, the weekend's here and these friends want to see you, but then they want to see the kids, but then the kids want to see another friends, and then you post a picture about you, I don't know, at a indoor playground, and then they get upset because they weren't invited? I'm like, I can't.
No, not outside of school, because our situations outside, we're not always going to different things with kids from the school setting. You know what I mean? If we see other friends, it's usually, let's say, you guys or other friends that we have that have kids that are not in the school or whatever. But like inside of school, like I'll have my oldest tell me about like certain things about his really good friend now wants to hang out with another little friend, which they're all friends, right? But then he'll say to me like, oh, but he only wants to be with so-and-so. So like now he's no longer my first best friend. He's my second mom. And then I was like, okay, so you guys are friends or you're not friends? And he's like, no, we're friends, mom, but he's no longer my first one. Like I'm putting him to second because he's with this other little kid. So I see it and I kind of like let it be, but I don't have it so much in my face as you know, as you do, you know what I mean? So maybe that's why it doesn't affect me as much.
That's so funny. They're going through these same stages of, well, now this is my first friend.
Yeah.
Now it's my second friend. And then it's, oh, she bought a friendship bracelet and she showed it to me, but then said that it wasn't mine, that it was for another friend. And when I heard that, I was upset.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Who said that? No. And then I'm like, chill, darling, chill.
So take in mind they're little, but I can see this becoming an issue later. Like let's say when they get a little bit, you know, older, 12, 13 years old. I'm actually going to bring you a really quick story about, like, I could see it as they get older. If that same friend is now starting to be like, oh, I don't like what you're wearing. You look horrible today. And those little jealousy starts. There's where I could see that something can become toxic and you need to pull the friend away. And that reason why I'm saying that is I was this weekend with another mom. You know, I met her like maybe on 2 or 3 occasions. And she was telling me about her son, 9 years old now. But when he was 6, he came to her one day saying, hey, listen, like, I don't want to be myself anymore. And she's like, what do you mean? And the reason why he said that was because he was having these episodes of this one kid, you know, I don't know if they were really close friends or they were just acquaintances at school, but the kid like was always hurting him somehow. Like her son would come home.
Physically or emotionally?
Both. So one day the kid comes home with a bloody nose. And she's like, what happened? He threw something at the kid to the face and it hit him. Then he started telling him, oh, you're overweight. Like you need to lose weight. You know what I mean? You know, all these different things. 6, 7 years old. These are boys. And she said she had to, you know, go to the school, talk to the school, like after a certain period of time and say, you know what, that's it. Like as a mom, I'm not going to be dealing with this. Like now it's not even just physical, it's mental. This is causing a mental distress on my son. For her son to have come to her and said to her, mom, I don't want to be me anymore. Like she's like, my heart broke. She's like, I was crying. And she goes, and that's it. I said no more. She had to go to the school, say, I don't want them anymore in the same class together. You figure out what you're going to end up doing. And that was 6 years old. She's like, you know what? They ended up putting him in the same class by mistake on the following year. It was a missight. Of course, you know, the teachers are trying to put all the friends together and he had friends, real friends in that class that the other kid was in. But she's like, you know what? I don't care. Take him out and put him and start him brand new in another like classroom. She's like, that's the best decision I ever did to separate. He's thriving now. He's happy. It was coming down to a mental health and physical thing. She's like, for my kid, 6, 7 years old, telling me I don't want to be myself anymore because this kid kept picking on him. Like, oh, you don't run fast enough. That's because you're overweight. Or, you know, always hurting him. It was toxic. And I said to her, were they ever friends? And she's like, well, they were friends, you know, acquaintances in school. And this kid just kept bashing him and hurting him. As a mom, she had to step up and say, no more, done. So I could see that as, I guess it depends the severity of it, you know, what you do or what you don't do.
That's crazy. If Luna comes with a bloody nose, somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah.
and
there's your overprotective man that's like, where are you? Of course. And as a mama bear, as a parent, just in general, you want to protect your kid,
yes,
you know?
Yes. And that's why I wanted to to talk about this topic because I started questioning myself on am I overparenting, and what is overparenting? Loving, protecting, and helping the kid so much that it hinders the child's growth.
Yeah.
You're protecting them from failure. So then this kid is going to grow up thinking like everything has to be perfect because,
No, or my mom's going to come and solve it for me.
Yes. Yes. So, for example, why do we do overparenting? Why does it happen? Out of fear and anxiety. Fear because look at the world we live in. Fear out of you don't know the conversations. You don't know how it's going to affect my kid emotionally. Fear of what happens after, of the bullying. Especially now that you told me that story, I'm like, oh my God. And I try to teach Luna, for example, when I'm getting dressed or something, I would never say like, ay, estoy gordita, or I'm trying to keep her away. Obviously, I can't super overprotect what she's gonna hear.
Yeah.
But trying to teach, at least at home, not to shame your body or anything. And it starts with us. So even if my hair is crazy, I try not to be like, ay, my hair is ugly, or I feel ugly, or this and that, because I don't want them thinking that it's, I don't know, right to think like that. And then I don't want her to say to another kid, oh my God, you're fat. Or
her create those patterns. Because you create the patterns. We all have patterns from our family. You know what I mean? That sometimes we pick up the good ones and we pick up the bad ones, So I understand what you're saying. You're conscious of what you say around her and how you act. And sometimes you can't control it all the time. It'll slip. But you're trying to not instill that in her so she doesn't do that when she goes to school or as she's growing. There's so many reasons, I think, why we overparent or why we choose sometimes to be that overprotective. And it could be also the way that you were raised. If your parents were super overprotective, two things. You might be that overprotective mom, or you might say, you know what, I ain't doing this to my kid.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm not going to do this. I want to do something different,
That's exactly, sorry that I
No, at all.
Because it's like, are you kidding me? That's exactly what happened with my mom. My grandfather, when they were in New York, he was so strict with my mom. My grandfather wouldn't let my mom go out. So she had to, open the window, jump out, and, what you see in the movies, she would have to do that. So when she had us, that's one thing that she said, I am not going to do the same thing that my dad, it was more my grandfather, did to me. I'm not going to do it to my kids. And thank God. And look what happened.
And then they got a crazy daughter that did, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's true. Yeah. It's like we look at our parents and then we say, okay, what did they do? Especially now that we're older. Because I think if we were younger parents closer to, we might not be so analytical. Or I guess it depends on your upbringing. But at least for me, I say, okay, so how was my mom? My mom was great. But my mom was a person that wanted to always she would talk to us a lot and she would try to protect us. And still to this day, she still, gives her advice and so on. So I think you take that and you say, okay, was it too much or was it too little? Or maybe you had an absent parent that was never around. And now because that parent was absent, you're like, no, I got to be there for every single thing my kid needs and does. And I'm going to solve everything for them. And you're doing it with the best intentions, but it might not be the best outcome later,
Same thing. Also the parents that do that are the ones that are working a lot. Yeah. So when they're not working and they're around the kids, they want to probably overcompensate for that. Yeah. And in my case, guilty as charged, since I only have Luna, I feel that at times I could be a little bit over because again, the overprotection. She's the only one that I have. Yeah. And I want to enjoy every single moment because this is the last time I'm going to enjoy it. I don't have another baby coming up. So probably that also, I want to be with her all the time. I want to see what she's doing all the time. And so at times I got to be like, okay, step back and let her go. Because I've never been a helicopter parent. I don't think so. Have I? Remember when we did the test?
Yes, you were a helicopter parent.
No, was I?
Yes, you were.
What about you?
Both. We were both helicopter with, I don't remember what was the other.
There was another one.
There was two that came out.
Yeah, we don't want to be that, but again, thinking back about our parents and when we were kids, things have changed. I would come home, do homework, and then, okay, Mom, I'll see you later. The typical, okay, come back before the sun goes out.
Yeah, you're riding bike outside, doing whatever.
So you're outside and you're hanging out. And then when I had friends that were older than me that started to drive, I would go with them. My mom was always like, I just want to know, and my dad, who you're going to go with. Yeah. Okay.
Give me their telephone number.
Not even. They just, sometimes they would just come into the house. Sometimes they already knew them, or they would come into the house and they would meet for a little bit, and it was good. And thank God, that nothing ever happened. But now I am anxious of the day that Luna gets to that age. And even my nephews, when they started driving, I'm like, oh my God, how can my sister do it? Oh, my brother, like I don't know how it's going to happen with me, but
day by day.
But I just feel like things have changed. Now I can't go right now, hey, Luna, go outside and come back in a few hours,
No. I would never.
Exactly. So also like things have changed, and then with social media also, what are they doing in the room? Do they have a phone? Do they have an iPad?
Who are they talking to?
Who are they talking to?
Yeah.
So she has a friend in her classroom she's also an only child, and she has the Apple Watch, and she has a TV in her room, and she's in Roblox, and she's very advanced in a lot of the things. And then Luna started, Mom, I want a TV in my room.
I want Roblox.
I want, this girl also has a cell phone, and she's 6.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Oh my God.
No,
I'm gonna have to show that to my little one.
I'm like 6, 7. I'm so bad. So
Is she doing that too? Oh my God.
No, I'm doing it.
Are you?
I don't know why. I'm the kid. Yeah, I don't know.
Noah's driving me crazy with that. But anyways, go back to your thought.
So they asked me, how old is Luna? Luna's 6.5, and I'm like 6, 7. Sorry. Okay. So I said no Roblox, no nothing. I said every household is different, and these are the rules at the house, and I'm like, maybe I'm overprotecting again.
Hold on one second.
Case, I don't think so.
I don't think so. When it comes to those things like Roblox and what they're doing online, and I think I'm sorry, but I'm the same way. I feel like you have to be with 4 eyes all the time. You don't know who they're talking to, who's talking to them. And there's a lot of shit, going on right now where kids are being suicidal. And it's not just because of we've talked about this, the online bullying and people that they meet online. So I'm 1,000% with you. I think going back though, because every situation is different, to the thing of protecting them from a friend, that you might not feel as they get older might be the best friend for them and all that. I think in this case with Luna, I feel like, okay, you test it out. They're still little. But if they get older and now they're calling each other names and the other one's coming home crying, then you start looking at what is the toxic relationship in friendships, where maybe as a mom, you will step in and say, you know what? I'm sorry, but like this friend is not like this what it's causing you, this distress, that's not good for you. I'm going to have to do something about it.
Yeah, it's not overparenting. It's parenting. It's protecting your child.
Now, if you were like that, like you can't hang out with anybody because that little girl just called you ugly once, and now you're like, no, she's not going to be your friend anymore. And it's always there's things that your kids have to go through. They're going to go through those things, So I think you just measure it out depending on what the situation is.
For them to also manage their emotions and figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
But we do have to be cautious and step in when we can. And so for those of you listening, we're going to go over a list of signs you might be overparenting.
Yeah.
So the number 1 is you often fix problems before your child even struggles. Do you do that?
No, that part I don't. I don't think I do.
Like in homework, if you see that they need to turn in a homework and you see that there's a couple of things that are wrong, do you fix it? I mean, not fix it yourself, erase it and fix it, but do you tell them, hey, this is wrong before you turn it in, make sure you do it right?
That, yes, because obviously at this age, the teachers are asking you to sign the homework that they did it. So it's like you didn't even look at it with your kid. They ask you, at least in our school, they ask you to sign their homeworks for you. So obviously they'll do it, and then I'll look at it. And sometimes I'm like, you know what, just send it in and whatever. And there's other days that they're like, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, just do the answer and then I'll have them correct it if not. So again, I feel like I'm in that particular scenario, I'm balanced, I want to say.
My friend was told by her daughter's teacher, she congratulated my friend. She said, I wish other parents would do the same thing that you do, because every kid's homework, it's
perfect. Oh no,
perfect. She knew already that my friend doesn't sit with them throughout homework, and she said, I wish that they would let kids make errors and not fix it. So second one, you step in to defend them in every conflict or disappointment.
I could see you doing that. I could see you doing that.
Anyway, next.
You manage their friendships, their schedule, their schoolwork too closely. Well, we went over the schoolwork thing, but that's like a catch-22 for me. I don't know.
Well, the schedule, they're not going to manage their schedule.
No, at this point,
they will be like Bluey from 3 to 3:30. Then Peppa Pig from 3:30 to 4 with ice cream.
no, the schedule I think is like irrelevant here in our conversation because of the ages that we're dealing with right now. I think we're still obviously managing their schedules. But friendships?
But I do feel that the schedule, one thing that we do, and we were talking about this, is that we overbook them. Like, okay, we have this, and then from this time we have this, and then you have a play date, and you have this.
Yeah.
And at times they like Sunday,
they're tired.
Like happen on Sundays. Like I just want to stay home and chill and play with my toys.
Yeah.
One time I said, you haven't been playing with these toys lately. I'm gonna put them in a box and give them away before Christmas. Mom, when am I gonna play with it? We're always doing something. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, that was like an eye opener for you. I was like, you're the one because you like to go out though. You like to be out. No, you love to be home, darling. No.
I do. No, I do. Sometimes.
You like to go out.
If the day is beautiful, especially now, which by the way, the weather here is
beautiful.
So beautiful. I'm so happy. If I'm inside and I see that the day is beautiful and we're watching TV, I'm like, no, let's go.
I feel ya.
So another sign that you might be overparenting is that you feel anxious when they make independent decisions.
No, you see?
That's like delegating.
I don't.
I can't delegate.
I like to see them when they make. Now, I always tell them this. This is something I always say to them, especially like when we're driving in the car. I'll do a little prayer in the car before they go to school. This is our routine. And I always tell them, you have choices. There's always choices. So you have the good choice and you have the bad choice. Whatever you choose is up to you. And there's consequences that come with it. So then Noita, which is like 5, he's like, consequences. Like he's
What
like,
is that? What is
it's
that?
like there's consequences. A good consequence, and I always give them an example. You do something good, somebody will come and say, oh my God, Noah, you did so great today. And they give you a little prize at school. You have a bad consequence at school, and the teacher could be calling the principal and then calling me. And then there's going to be, punishment. So like, I mean, not punishment, like, but you know what I mean? You might not have TV for a couple of days, or they may take away your recess time. I was like, those, you choose what you're going to do. And behind every choice is a consequence. So I always try to instill that in them. And I always say, always try to choose what you would want done to you, especially if it comes on to like another kid or something like that. And then at school, choose the right thing. So I think that's why probably they're so good at school. Overall, they're very good at school. And then when they get home, they kind of like hash it out with me and they do whatever they want. They really do. And I'm like, why don't you listen to me and you listen to your teachers? It's like, I think they just have to go crazy when they get home.
I was reading about something related to that it was about this mom that said that the kids started throwing tantrums and doing all of this. Okay, you're only going to have the iPad for 30 minutes. Then instead of 2 hours of TV, you're only going to get like a mini episode of whatever, Bluey. And the kid was still like acting the same way. And then they decided we're just going to eliminate everything. No sweets, no snacks. They did it for a certain amount of time. We're talking about probably a month, and that the kid changed completely.
Well, of course, because now everything got taken away. The thing is, I never sometimes hold on to what I say. So sometimes I say, I'm going to take it away. Today, you guys behave so bad, no YouTube. And then we'll go do our stuff. And then after like 3 hours, they behave good. And I'm like, okay, so they do YouTube. So in their mind, that's bad too, because I feel like I didn't hold my word, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So I've done that a couple of times and I catch myself doing it. And I'm trying to get better with that, like with the consequences and holding my word to it, so
yeah, you have to keeping it consistent. Another one, you say yes to every request even when it costs your peace. I'm better at that one. I'm better at being like, nope, we're not gonna do it.
I think so. Depending on what it is, they don't always get their way, Oh, like for instance, this weekend that we had so many activities going on, we were leaving one of the birthday parties and Jacob is like, Mom, give me 50 cents. Because they had one of those little machines that you put the 50 cents and it gives you some stupid little toy that comes out of it. But for them, it's like, and
I was going to be in the car.
It's
going to stay in the car. You're going to be
and I have 1,000 of those underneath the seat and this and that. And I was like, nope, I'm not giving it to you. We were walking out the door and he goes, I don't love you anymore. So we get in the car and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna get mad. He's having let him process his feelings. And we get in the car and I was like, let them theory. I always say let them. I try to.
Mel Robbins, let them.
I try. It's hard, but I try. I was like, okay, let him. So we get in the car and then he tells his brothers, Noah, look at him. Let me tell you that Noah's very smart for 5.
Oh yeah.
He goes, Jacob, you don't appreciate anything that mommy does for you. And then I was just like, And he smiles like, Mommy, look, a brownie point for me, right? You know, brownie point for me. So he loves it. They do this thing. So we get in the car and I was like, Jacob, I was like, I'm going to tell you something. I was like, not everything that you want are you going to get. And you have to look at this whole weekend. You had party after party. You had this, you had that. I go, and today you were jumping for I don't know how many hours. We stayed here. The latest parents was us with the other parents. And you stayed here playing. We helped you do the bungee thing that you wanted to do, everything. And just for one little thing that didn't come out of that machine, for the 50 cents, you're going to tell your mother, I don't love you. So I have conversations with him and then he looks at me and he's like, okay, Mom. He's like, you know, I love you. And I was like, okay, but you can't hash out. Like you really have to think before you say something.
Oh,
you
that's
know?
Good.
And so I try to talk to him.
I'm still learning that on my side.
So, you know, I'm trying to be very aware of the situation and not scream, you know, and then kind of talk to him about it versus just yelling and being like, what, how could you say that? Get in the car. You know what I mean? Now you're punished. Like I was like, no, I'm going to let him hash out his feelings, whatever he's feeling. And then I'm going to talk to him about it. But
yeah,
anyways,
because it hurts. I don't remember when was it that we were doing a lot of things together. And then a day later she goes, Mom, you don't do anything for me. All you do is you think about yourself. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Everything I do is for you,
but
you know?
Now she's always, Mom, I love you. Why do you love me? Because we're always doing fun things and because you always look for ways to make me happy. And I'm like, okay, she's appreciating it. But what about when we're not doing fun things?
Yeah.
What's going to happen then? So another one is having tracking apps. Guilty. I don't care. I would have a tracking until she's 50. We'll do the Life 360, but yeah,
I need to get on that. Like I keep saying I don't have any tracking apps on them, but I do say I need to. The reason being, obviously, because of the world that we live in, right? Probably back in the day, as much as there was danger, maybe it wasn't so much in our face, so our parents weren't so in tune with that. But I think that, you know, I keep saying I bought them now that we're going to be leaving on a trip. I bought them these little watches that like, I was like, oh, these are wristbands for the hotel. And if you take them out, you can't go into anywhere that we're going. So you have to keep them on. And it has a little tracking device on it. So I was like, God forbid one of them like runs off or something and I can't find them and we're in another country. I was like, no. I was like, I'm going to track them.
Did you do the same thing with Benji? Did you get him one of those?
No, but I was like, we don't have that. We don't have that thing to see like where everybody's at. One day I'm going to do it secretly, you know? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, especially with the field trips, for me, the tracking app is super important. So if that's overparenting, then I'm guilty. I don't care. So, okay, so the cost of overparenting for kids, it could be decrease resilience, problem solving, and independence. Because when the kids feel that, oh, I did this, you know, when they do something and they feel so proud and all that. So that's important because it helps with the self-esteem. And for example, sometimes Luna has projects and I feel that it's easier for me. Okay, I'll just help you do it because
hurry up time.
Let's do it. Yeah. Or let's fix this. Or I don't want you to get burned with the glue gun. And we were doing the turkey in disguise. Did you guys do it?
No.
Oh, you didn't do it? No. Oh, so we were doing that and it was so cute. And I had to remind myself because I've always had issues delegating and we've talked about this before. For me, it's more like, you know what, I'll do it. Yeah,
because I'll get it done faster.
She was so proud of, you know, I did, you know, the glue gun, but then she was doing other sections and she was so happy. And I remember the last one we did, it was mostly me. And I'm like, okay, I need to let go. Because
whose project is this, Darlene's or Luna's?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going back in time. I'm in 6th grade now. So that's one thing that can cost them for the kids. Also, again, like we said before, the fear of failure, of taking risk, of thinking that everything has to be perfect, of, you know, them getting used to somebody doing everything for them. And that's another thing we're working on. Fabian's always giving her errands. Like, come, help me do this, help me do that. And she's always so happy. In my case, instead of, oh, let me wait for her to clean the room, you will see me like putting everything away and making the bed. And I need to stop doing that. I think it's important to give them chores.
1,000%. Yeah. Now that you're saying that, just chiming in on that, like this weekend, since we were trying to rush to do stuff and I see Noah watching like TV and the other one watching TV, I was like, no, Noah peed the bed. Or if I want to say that, I guess he was so tired the night before that he didn't go to sleep like till late and he didn't go to the bathroom. So then I get Jacob waking me up like at 5 a.m. because they do sleep together. And he's like, Mom, he's like, Noah peed the bed. And I was like, shoot. So I woke up, I took Noah, put him in my room, changed the sheets, everything, like at 5:30 in the morning. And I couldn't go back to sleep. Anyways, long story short, the next day, or, in the morning, I was like, Noah, you're the one that did this mess. So you're going to help me to do the bed. And he's like, no, you do it. I was like, no. I'm here cleaning the sheets. We're going to do chores today. You're going to help me. Come on. So I had both of them helping me put the sheets back and the protective thing. And then like putting cleaning the sabanita because I couldn't put it inside the washer. So I had to do it with like spot clean. So I was spot cleaning it and then smelling, spot cleaning and smelling, spot cleaning and smelling. And I was like, smell it. Do you smell it? And he's like, ooh, mommy, that smells bad. I go, exactly. That was you. So clean it.
That's like what you do with the dogs when you're trying to train them. That is like when they pee, you're supposed to put the hocico on the nose and smell your own
I was
stuff.
like, smell it. I was like, where is it? He's like smelling the whole thing. They're all smelling. He's like, Mommy, over here, there's pee. I go, okay, spray it. And I actually saw that they got so entertained, they forgot about the TV and they were helping me to clean, the stuff for the bed. Anyways, that was just a story of this weekend.
But yeah, we got to make them work.
Yeah.
So, but for parents, there's also a cost of overparenting, which is we get exhausted of trying to control everything.
Yeah.
We get exhausted of picking up their stuff and cleaning and trying to have everything perfect. The other day, I was doing chores and she looks at me and she goes, Mom, I don't like when we're here at the house because you're always doing chores and you're not spending time with me.
Ooh, the guilt.
And I'm like, I mean, maybe it's nothing to do with overparenting, but it's about this pressure that we put on ourselves of having, to tidy everything, tidy everything.
Titty everything. I don't know.
Another one would be strained parent-child relationships, which it's more or less the same thing of them seeing you always trying to control the situation, trying to have everything perfect. And like we were saying before we started recording, and it could happen later when they're in their teenage years that they don't want to communicate things with you because of the pressure of not meeting our expectations.
Or not only that, or something goes wrong and then they feel that they're not adequate enough to do certain things and they blame it on you later and say, it's your fault that I don't know how to do A, B, and C because you always tried to control everything. So every which way you slice it, I feel you're always going to get something back, So you just got to pick your battles.
There's always going to be an issue.
Yep.
So how to step back without feeling like you're failing?
So you got to focus on progress and not perfection, right? So we just got to see the little steps that are moving forward, versus always thinking like it's not perfect. The picture is not overall perfect. It's like those little, stepping stones. And I have an issue with that because I see the big picture always, like just in everything. And I'm always thinking of like future. And sometimes I want it all at the same time and everything to be so perfect. And it's not. Sometimes you got to scale back and look and say, you know what, we did do this, or this did accomplish. This is something different, so you have to look at those positive things, versus always trying to say that it's not exactly how you want it, you know?
And I find myself sometimes I'm very anal with grammar. So when we're doing like spelling homeworks and stuff, I could find myself being like, but that's not how you spell it. And then I got to remind myself, she's 6.
Yeah.
She's
learning.
She's still learning. And then she goes, Mom, but I'm doing my best. Like she teaches me.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, kids teach us. And
Absolutely.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. But I'm doing my best. So now it's switching instead of being like, that's wrong. It's, you're doing great. Or if you ask them to do an errand, you did great. Next time, try this, instead of just directing them. This is exactly how you
let them figure it out.
Let them figure it out.
And you kind of guide them, but you're letting them figure it out overall.
Yeah. Another step we can take, let them have their own space and get creative instead of like trying to control every minute of their life. Another one, let natural consequences teach small lessons early.
There we go, the consequences again. I got to tell myself, Monica, there's consequences to this. I have to remind myself, so I remind my kids. But anyways, yes, consequences.
And encourage independence by offering choices, which is what you did with Noah. You can either do this and be good or bad. And choices, my mom's, why are you giving her choices? Things like, okay, you want to wear this, or you want to wear this. My mom's always, don't give her choices.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, I want to give her choices. I want her to be part of of course, she's always going to choose one of the ones that I didn't put in the front, but that's another thing.
My parents say the same thing. Actually, Benjamin told me that the other day. He's like, he sent me a snippet of this like guy, I forget his name. He's like a motivational speaker or so on. And he was saying, he's like, from when my kids were, little, that they can comprehend, to 18, it's like, no. It's what I say. I'm your parent. I'm guiding you the right way. So I don't give them choices. I remember he sent me this because I do give my kids choices sometimes. I'm like, okay, so what do you want to eat today? You want this or this? This is what I've got. He's like, no, que coman lo que hay. It's what there is. You know what I mean? So I get that part too, but I also want their input too so that they could feel that they have some sort of say, right?
Yeah.
Try to balance it out.
The other one would be more
authoritative parenting. Authoritative parenting. If I follow you, forget it. You're gonna me vas a enredar más.
Okay, say it again.
No, wait. Authoritative. Authoritative
you
parenting.
have to have a balance. Don't give them options for everything. But sometimes what's in the plate, that's what you're gonna have. But it's good to include them. But I feel that when you're gonna give them stuff to do, just ask yourself: is there something that they can do without me?
Yeah.
Like, you're not gonna be like, hey, can you light all the candles in the house? No.
Yeah, go and sit in la estufa and go cook food for us. No, at this age, especially not.
No, we just got the candles, the ones that you just put like the switch.
Okay.
Safe. If we're gonna have people over, okay, can you work on the candles? And then I'm making sure that none of them are real. And I explained to her, by the way, as long as you can put a switch on and off, that one you can do. If you need a lighter, please don't use it. So to wrap this up, when is a good time to protect your child's emotions?
With the story that I told you about this mom that I was talking to this weekend, bullying, I think at one point, if it's causing distress in your child and you know your child and mentally they're suffering because of a kid, let's say, that's bullying them or so on, those are things that I feel like you're going to come and you're going to protect your kid. You're not going to allow them to get hurt or now have this emotional, like psychological problem because of another child or somebody else. So I feel there you come in, and there is where you have to step up and now you take control. If your kid is not being able to solve it on their own. Like I say, the first time, second time, give them the space. But now your kid's coming home with a bloody nose, or your kid is now suffering and crying every day in their room. You need to take action and you need to be aware of these things and become that overprotective parent,
Yeah. And again, like we said at the beginning, it's this stage that not many people talk about, 6, 7, 8. And this is the pre-teens. It's a lot of work here because whatever happens now, when they get to the teenage years, you're going to see that reflection of what you did or you didn't do. No pressure.
I dread that. Pressure. I pray every day, please don't let my kids get bullied. And I always tell them, you never be the bully. You never be that first kid to throw a punch. You never be the kid. You're not going to be the first one. But I also tell them, you're also not going to allow people to push you around. So if somebody does something to you first, let's see how you,
talking about that, when there's mixed, feelings about this, but I've heard the two sides. I don't know in which one I'm in. Do you know where I'm coming?
If they hit you,
if they hit you, do you hit back? So what do we tell them? My Puerto Rican self would be like, yes, you do.
Yes,
you hit them back. But I don't know if it's the right thing.
Exactly. This is so that is
laughing.
So personal though. It's just like, okay, so, and I always think so many different scenarios. Like, so for our kids at this age that they're in, I'm like, don't ever be the first one. But if somebody comes and pushes you on purpose and there's nobody around, you better believe that you're going to defend yourself if they keep, bullying you. Now, if they pushed you and they left you alone, do you have to go now run after them and push them as well? I don't know. It really just depends on the scenario. Or at that point, do you go and tell an adult?
That's what I tell Luna. If you hear something bad, or if you see that somebody's treating another person bad, say something about it and then go and look for an adult. But if she gets hit...
But you want to know that this is not, for me, this is not a black and white, like for me, and maybe some psychologists will be like, yes, it is. But for me, it really depends on each situation, because I'm assuming too, I don't have older kids, but when the kid is 15, 16 years old and you've got a bully that is bullying you around, and if you allow yourself to go and now tell the teacher and not kind of like fend for yourself, it's probably going to continue happening.
It's going to be worse because they're going to be like, oh, he went to talk to the teacher.
Oh, no. And then everybody's going to, it's very hard. It's not a black and white. But anyways, we could say on there forever and we're never going to get down to a correct.
I'll be like, I'll see you outside of school.
And at this point, do you really want that? Like, and then you think with all the shit that's going on, would you want that? So that's such a very delicate topic.
Luna is too flaquita, man. I gotta feed her and put her in jiu-jitsu. But definitely. I did love one time in baseball that they were making a line for something, and a kid came and pushed her, and she went like push back, and I have it on video, and I'm like, that's such a beautiful moment.
And then some parents gonna go and be like, that is so wrong. How could you say that violence? But
she's the girl in the team list. It's okay.
Listen, put her in jiu-jitsu. There's this one little girl in there that she'll grab any of those boys and she will have them like in a headlock in a second,
Is her name Natalia?
No.
Natalia's doing amazing. Anyway, what we can do is encourage our listeners and ourselves to choose connection over control. So about communicating, if you're having issues with a friend, talk before giving orders. Just talk to your kid about it.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? And blah, blah, blah.
These are things that we need to be doing as adults. I think communication goes a very, very long way. So if you're having an issue with anybody or in any circumstance, school, a friendship setting or whatever, I think that if you are mature enough to talk it out and kind of like get there first and then take the steps necessary afterwards. Obviously, in the age range that these kids are, I doubt that they're going to have a very profound conversation. I don't like how you did that. Don't take my toy away from me. Ask me. It's more simplified,
But it's also healthy, and I'm saying it to remind myself to let them fail, let them fall. Fabian has this story about when he was younger and he was in a Catholic school and they took them camping and it was nighttime. There were no lights. They turned the flashlights off. I think, he fell in a hole. Like all this stuff and all this struggle. It's a longer story. I'm making it short. And he was telling the story to Luna. And Luna was, Daddy, and why did they do that? It was a camping with all these priests and they were super strict. But at the end, they were teaching them something, toughen them up.
Oh, so this was kind of like a setting. It was done on a purpose thing so that they can, you know what? I feel like we can't have our kids also be crying and so, soft for everything. As life goes and as they're getting older, they're going to have a lot of tests. Yeah. And they're going to hopefully come to us to say, Mom, this happened, or we have to get it out of them. But like that we can talk to them and then kind of guide them and then, but still allow them to deal with it and, the way that they feel fit, unless we need to intervene because it's gone too far, depending on what the situation is. But anyways, connection.
Balance it out. Well, thank you for tuning in. And if you want to watch this episode, we're on YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.